All right, everybody. Hi, it's David Kramer, the Critical Thinking Christian, and today I want to talk about Nebuchadnezzar. In Daniel 4, we have a story of King Nebuchadnezzar, being arrogant and having a dream, and then eventually being struck down by God and becoming mad for 7 years. And I'm going to read that. I'm on, the website. I forget what the website is anymore. How Stuff Works. I'm going to put the link in the description, so if you want to read it. But anyway, this is the madness of King Nebuchadnezzar, ? So where does this leave the famous story of Nebuchadnezzar losing his marbles and eating grass for 7 years? Are there also hints in the historical record, which I think is very important. When you're reading the Bible and you read about stuff like this, that you, like with Nebuchadnezzar, very powerful king. Babylon was an awesome empire. So there's going to be records, historical records from outside the Bible. If you can't find any, or if you find some that are different, like with this one, well then, there again, the Bible's not inerrant. So let's find out. Okay, first let's recap the tales told in Daniel 4. In the Bible account, Nebuchadnezzar has a disturbing dream that none of his court magicians could interpret. So he asks Daniel, a young exiled Judean known as a visionary. To Daniel, the dream is clear. If Nebuchadnezzar doesn't repent and praise the one true God, he will be stricken with a madness that will cause him to wander the wilderness like a beast. Okay? Now, here's the story. 12 months later, as the king was walking on the roof of the royal palace of Babylon, he said, "Is not this the great Babylon I have built as the royal residence, by my mighty power and for the glory of my majesty?" Even as the words were on his lips, a voice came from heaven. And there's another thing. The Old Testament, how many times does God make his presence known to people? Apparently makes his presence known to people. Now the only time it seems that he makes his presence known to people is when other people tell you that that was God making his presence known to people. You know that tsunami that happened over there? Well, that was God. Every damn time a tsunami happened from the beginning of the world, that was God. Anyway, even as the words were on his lips, a voice came from heaven. "This is what is decreed for you, King Nebuchadnezzar. Your royal authority has been taken from you. You will be driven away from the people and will live with the wild animals. You will eat grass like the ox. 7 times will pass by for you until you acknowledge that the Most High is sovereign over all kingdoms on earth and gives them to anyone he wishes." Now, I put a screen door on this summer. I did it. I didn't pray about it. I didn't see any angels helping me. It wasn't like I was going, "Hey, could you give me that wrench over there or that screwdriver?" I put that door on. Okay? I worked in the foundry. I earned the money. I went up to Home Depot and I bought that door and I put it on. Nobody else. Not some God. He didn't help me. Look what I did. I don't know. Maybe I'll be out there in the woods rooting around and for, grubs and shit too. I don't know. Okay, so in other words, I'm the one who does. I'm the one who gives you power. I'm the one who makes you successful. And I'm going to drive you out and you're going to be like a wild animal. Immediately, what had been said about Nebuchadnezzar was fulfilled. He was driven away from people and ate grass like the ox. His body was drenched with the dew of heaven until his hair grew like the feathers of an eagle and his nails like the claws of a bird. At the end of that time, I, Nebuchadnezzar, raised my eyes toward heaven, and my sanity was restored. Then I praised the Most High. I honored and glorified him who lives forever. All right. A Tale of Two Mad Kings. Incredibly, there is an independent record of a Babylonian king going mad and wandering in the wilderness for years. But it wasn't Nebuchadnezzar, says Fromm. In Babylonian text, the mad king was Nabonidus, a king who ruled 2 decades after Nebuchadnezzar and ended up losing the Babylonian Empire to the Persians. According to the records, King Nabonidus replaced the Babylonian gods with a new moon god and then led his troops on a strange campaign into the Arabian desert to attack some towns, including Yathrib, the later Medina. He then dwelled the next 10 years in the Arabian city of Tama. This sojourn of Nabonidus in Arabia for 10 years is clearly the background of the story of Nebuchadnezzar in the wilderness. There is even physical proof of the Nabonidus story also being tied to a Hebrew sage. 4 fragments discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls contain what is now known as the Prayer of Nabonidus. I was afflicted with an evil ulcer for 7 years, and an exorcist pardoned my sins. He was a Jew from among the children of the exile of Judah, and said, "Recount this in writing to glorify and exalt the name of the Most High God." Fromm says that the exorcist in the Nabonidus account is clearly Daniel, and it is easy to understand why the authors of Daniel would have substituted the tyrant Nebuchadnezzar in their retelling. There is no evidence that Nabonidus ate grass. In this theology, where you have to be punished for the sins you committed, it makes sense that it's Nebuchadnezzar and not Nabonidus who is said to have had this strange episode, says Fromm. So there you have it, a lie. Okay, all through my life, I believe that was Nebuchadnezzar. But history proves otherwise, and proves that that's a bunch of crap. So I look at the Bible's lying. It wants you to believe something, okay, until you find out the truth and you realize, well, what a bunch of shit. And as like I said, if the small things, if they can't get them right, and if they lie about them, then how can I believe what they want me to believe to be the big things? Okay? Well, it says, what does the example of Nebuchadnezzar teach us about the historicity of the Bible? That it's neither entirely factual nor entirely made up. It's this weaving. It's a story. They're just telling you a story, and this is good, because this is the kind of stuff you tell the people, and you put a name like Nebuchadnezzar, who was much greater than Nabonidus, and they go, "Oh wow, look what God did to that guy. That guy had us. He captured us, and wow, how about that, huh? Liars." And to this day. So that's all I have for today. It's another called fallacy, and I'm going to come back with more, because I found a site that has a lot of reference, so I can research some of this stuff, and I'm going to bring more out. It's becoming evident that, well, it's been evident now for a while. I mean, I was just thinking about the whole narrative of the Messiah, and how he was supposed to be the seed of Israel, Jacob, and through Judah, and how there was absolutely no evidence that Jesus Christ was the Messiah. But I'm going to like I said, I'm going to bring more videos out, and I'm going to research stuff today, and I'm going to come out with more of them. So, let me know what you think. Uh, like, dislike, subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm just going to keep popping them out. And like I said, I'm probably going to have more today. I was thinking of doing it yesterday, but then I ate supper and I didn't feel like doing anything but laying down and taking a nap, so that's what I did. But anyway, I'm going to end this, and until I see you next time, this is David Kramer, the Critical Thinking Christian.